Hi, welcome to this video. I thought I'd do a follow-up on last week's video about do I really only need 2 sessions? Because it was a really funny coincidence that I was going back through the notes I'd made for my sessions when I very first went to Mace. And I thought maybe it's helpful to share that and also perhaps to give you a sense of the kind of things that people can bring to Mace. But on that point, what you bring to Mace is whatever's bugging you, whatever's not feeling good, whatever's not feeling right, whatever's frustrating you, whatever's irritating you, whatever's repeating and repeating and repeating, and you seem to be unable to do anything about it. All of those things are the kind of things you bring to Mace. So people bring things like relationship issues. My mother's annoying me, my mother-in-law's annoying me, my father's too controlling, my partner's too controlling. I react to my kids. It can be, I don't like this about myself. It can be a body thing, a self-relationship thing, like I give myself a hard time all the time. It can be, I don't like being in groups. It can be, I don't like putting myself out in the world. It can be, I don't like being communities, but I think there's something amazing. It can be issues with money and either not having enough or feeling like you've not got enough, even if you've apparently got plenty. It can be client issues. It can literally be anything. Because anything we don't like about ourselves or about our world or about other people is something which has its source in a resisted feeling or in a negative identity, both of which are handled through the Mace Energy Method process. And it doesn't matter what the thing is. That's part of the setup of the conversation when you very first come for your foundation sessions. We talk about the fact it does not matter what the circumstances are, who the people are, what happened. We're absolutely not interested in that. I mean, it's fine that it's happened. It's part of your life. It's useful at some level, but not when it comes to the MACE process. And that's why it's not a talk therapy. That's why many people actually choose to come to MACE because it's not a talk therapy. They're tired of talking about this stuff. They're tired of going around the same loops again and again and again. They're tired of telling the story again of, well, this person does this and I react like this and I understand why they react like that because dot, 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 dot. And nothing is changing. So the people who come to Mace are often and usually so ready to put the story down because they've seen it's not worked. They've seen that telling the story hasn't worked. They've seen that even understanding the story hasn't worked. Bringing it into awareness, bringing it into awareness. Oh, there it is again. I'm aware of it. Oh, but there it is again. And so, hence, in Mace, we put the story down. It's valuable as a doorway to have us recognize there's something that we can discreate and get free from. And that's it. It's this amazing portal. The world, the people around us, the relationships, the experiences, they create these reactions in us, and they are this amazing portal to bring us back into ourselves, to clear and discreate that stuff that's not the real you, so that you feel more of the real you. You feel good, you feel in alignment, you feel in flow, you see the perfection of everything, exactly how it's unfolding. And therefore, you stop seeking, you stop analyzing. And as per my last video, it can take more than 2 sessions. And that became so starkly obvious to me again when I went back to look at my session notes. And I was like, oh my God, I was still talking about the same thing in my third session. And that was on the back of having had positive results at the end of each of my foundation sessions. So let me tell you some of what I took to my session so that you can see, this might resonate for you. Some of this you might then go, oh gosh, yeah, that's some of what's going on for me. But also really just to highlight the fact that even when the process is working, even when we are getting positive results, there might be a need for a follow-up session. There might be a need for a subsequent session to clean up that a bit more. And that was my experience. And then I continued having sessions for about 3 months, sometimes only 10 minutes a week. Sometimes I would want a full hour, but ultimately, after about 3 months, there was such a transformation, such a shift. There'd already been so many shifts, and then it was like, oh yeah, this is really like I'm really tidying up the little edges now. So I still continue to have sessions, but it's here and there, it's little bits here and there. And it's amazing what a gift that we get to keep doing that if we want to. So let me tell you about what I took to my sessions and see if this resonates for you. So my first session in my notes, I wrote down about how I went in with a fear of chaos. So something I'd come to see in the year prior, 2023, prior to coming to Mace, I'd seen that with my business, I would talk about wanting more clients. I would talk about wanting my business to grow. But when I actually got really close into it and really looked with the coach I was working with at that time, it was like, oh, I say I want to, but actually inside, I'm terrified of chaos. And that terror of chaos is causing me to act in controlling and preventative ways. I'm like keeping people away through that fear of chaos. I'm trying to hold everything so tightly and keep it all on an even keel that actually means that people aren't able to come into my world. And the story would still run, but I want more people, but I want to grow my business. And still the people wouldn't come, but they couldn't because there was this contraction in me, this fear in me, this resisted feeling in me, resisting chaos, resisting what I thought it looked like to grow your business, resisting what I thought it would feel like to grow my business. And therefore, of course, a business couldn't grow because the very thing I wanted was being held back through fear of this imagined chaos that would come if it grew. So yeah, of course, clients and money weren't coming in. So I went in with that fear of chaos. I could see that there was control and prevention of clients and money coming in, and yeah, hence nobody was coming in. But I want to make a really important point here. At that point in time in my journey, I was doing a lot of analysis of what's happening, why is it happening, what's happening in me, what's all the domino knock-on effect of fear of chaos, thoughts about chaos is bad and wrong, behaviors of, yes, keep all the people and money away because that's too dangerous. I was very much in that world of let's understand this domino effect of experience, which is leading to this outward behavior. And I want to make a really, really massively important point here that you do not need to do that. You do not need to know that. Indeed, to analyze all of this stuff is simply giving more of your valuable energy and attention to it. Something which you do not want to be really deep down, you do not want to be giving your energy and attention to that. So I want to really highlight with that although I'd done all that background thinking, it's not helpful, it's not necessary, not in the context of Mace. All I needed really to have known was I want my business to grow and it's not growing and it's really frustrating me. I want more clients and I'm not getting more clients and it's really frustrating me. That's really all I needed to take. My clients, not my community wasn't as vibrant as I wanted it to be. That was frustrating me. That frustration was the gift. That frustration was the sign that there was something for me to take to a Mace Energy Method session. That's all I needed to really know. It just so happened at that time I was into the world of analysis and figuring out, ooh, what's this and where's it come from and what's behind it all. Like if you want to do that, go for your life. But my preference now is very much to put my energy and attention into what I enjoy. And that's only become possible because I've cleared all the negative stuff that was preventing that from being a reality for me. So yeah, so I took this fear of chaos, this I want my business to grow, I want more clients, I want more money. I was also seeing that at that time I was taking too much responsibility for people in my family life, in my clients' lives, and that I also saw was a problem because I would get frustrated. It was like giving, 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 and then, oh my God, why is nobody giving back to me? When's this karma going to flow back? You know, it was always that kind of thought. But I've given so much, but I've done so much. Can't they see how much I'm helping? Where's the flow back? Where's the good stuff that's coming back to me? That's so frustrating. Where is it? Why is it not coming? And again, all I needed to know was just all I needed to know really was that frustration. All I really needed to know was this feels awful. But again, at that time, I had a lot of stuff around it, and fine, because that visual and felt that real world experience of that taking of excessive responsibility, the becoming aware of that as a problem, then actually led me back to see and really recognize the frustration that I was feeling underneath it. So that story, that doorway is always valuable if it helps us get awareness, it helps us recognize and realize and go, ooh, yeah, that feels bad. That feels yucky. That feels awful. It's exactly the thing to take to a Mace session. So that was my first session. This fear of chaos, I was feeling like I didn't deserve, and I was taking too much responsibility for people around me. And then all of that with the vibe of frustration. Why is it not like this? I don't like this. I want it to be different. I really see frustration as such a gift now because it tells me exactly where there's something for me to clear or discreate with Mace. It's amazing. Such a gift. So then my notes for my second session, my follow-up. So with your foundation sessions, you have 2 hours session to start with, followed by a 1 hour follow-up about a week later. And so a week later, I'd gone to my session, clearly in such a victim mode. Listen to some of my words. It just so doesn't resonate now, but this is where I was at the time. So what I wrote down was, I'm ignored, nobody sees me, everyone else is better than me, everyone likes them more than they like me. Oh, it's all right for them, it's working out for them. It's not fair, I don't get that. All of that you can feel the young victim energy in that. And that's what was going around in my system. Very much not the real me, very much not the real you if you're resonating with that. I'd also written, I can't celebrate others' successes because I feel resentful, jealous, like a failure, left out. I'd seen others being promoted by their clients, like celebrated by their clients. And again, I felt left out, jealous, not fair. I want that. Can you feel the feet stamping energy of that? Again, that tells us we're not in the real us when we're in that feet stamping energy. I'd written, yeah, funnily enough, having started that with I'm ignored, nobody sees me, I'd also written down that I'm afraid to be seen and acknowledged. And why is nobody engaging? Why are they all so quiet? And still, the last thing I wrote, fear of not being in control. And that echo again from that first session where I'd had that fear of chaos. Fear of not being in control was really a fear of chaos. And that was still showing up in that second session. And that's okay, because that's exactly why we have a second session in the foundation process. And very often, that's it. Very often, that second session then clears up whatever was remaining from the first session. However, then I had a third session. And I went to that session. In fact, I think I remember my practitioner feeling slightly exasperated that I was taking the same thing again. I can't remember if it was that session particularly. It might have been another one later on. I can't remember. But anyway, what I'd written down for this one, I'm feeling frustration. Ooh, there's that feeling again. I'm feeling frustration that people aren't engaging. I can see that I'm rescuing through fear of not being in control. Same pattern again. Rescuing, i.e. taking too much responsibility for people through fear of not being in control. Same again. I'm taking responsibility for people to make sure they're okay. I'm wanting to try and make sure they get the most from their experience so that they think I'm good and not wrong or bad or awful, so that they don't leave me, abandonment issues, and take their money with them. And then I'd also had some concerns about, oh, funnily enough, yeah, actually I'd written here. So I'm so tired of working with people who can't do things without getting activated, says the person who was writing this, completely activated in a negative victim identity. whatever we are projecting onto the world, it's us too, whether that's negative victim stuff or whether it's beautiful, delightful stuff. If it's, yeah, if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel in flow, if it doesn't feel in alignment, if it doesn't feel clean and clear, we know that we're reacting and resisting a feeling and a negative identity. So yeah, so all of that was still going on in my third session. And interestingly, at this point, I also had a question about whether I wasn't feeling enough. I felt like, because I've never been a strong feelings, emotions kind of person. I mean, obviously they were there, or else I wouldn't have been feeling this frustration, but I don't feel them massively in the body. Again, there are sensations, but I don't think it's like many people experience them. I know that we've had these conversations, in fact, in my other world, in Thoughtful Raven. We all experience things differently. And I was really concerned at this point that maybe I'm not feeling enough. And therefore, because I'm not feeling enough, I'm not discreating enough of the identity through the process. And so I've no doubt that through that session, we would also have dealt with that doubt and that questioning. Am I doing it right? Am I getting it right? Am I doing it well enough? I've seen that come up for a lot of people during their sessions. So after that, I didn't see that one come up again. There might have been one other time. There might have been one other time, I think. I can't see it at a glance here. Oh, yes, it did. June. So this was in April. I had my first 3 sessions. In June, there was a little blip again of frustration with victims coming up again, because there was a fear of victim within me that hadn't yet been fully discreated. And so I really want you to know from this, A, if any of that stuff I've just shared resonates for you, then that isn't the real you. That is stuff which the Mace Energy Method can handle and get rid of, so you don't have to keep living in that experience. Then you get to celebrate others. Then you get to enjoy your life the way you want to live it. Then you get to do whatever you want with businesses and money and relationships, and you get to be with the people you want to be with, and you get to enjoy it all. So if any of that resonates for you, if any of the stuff that I was experiencing resonates for you, please consider booking a foundation session with me or with another Mace Energy Method practitioner. But second of all, I want you to know that just because something hasn't completely gone after your 2 sessions, it's okay. It didn't happen for me, and I was totally okay with that. I mean, obviously I preferred it to be gone quicker, but it's like this process is working. I can feel this process is working. I had seen after both of those foundation sessions, I'd seen the evidence in the session, because that's something that we do. We check back in the session to see that what you came with is now feeling clear and clean. But you also notice it in how you feel at the end. And I felt so different at the end of both of those sessions. I felt like I'd been dipped into a deep pool for a good cleanse. And so I knew something was happening. I knew things were shifting. I knew that things were changing. I knew that I loved the feeling of what Mace made possible. I knew I loved the effectiveness and the efficiency of it. I knew that I loved dropping the story. I knew that I loved just getting in there. This is the thing. It feels horrible. Good. Let's run that through the process. I loved that. I still love that. And so I kept going. It was like the fact it was coming back was entirely secondary to the fact that I loved the effectiveness and efficiency of the process, and I loved how it made me feel. So if you've had or are thinking about having your foundation sessions, please know that it's okay if after your first 2 sessions, you're not entirely skipping through the world going, oh my God, singing to the daisies, and there are dancing unicorns and rainbows. It's really okay. What we handle in those first 2 sessions is the stuff you first take to those 2 sessions. And if for some reason, like me, you haven't managed to clear it in those first 2 sessions, that's okay. We have further sessions. That's why, as practitioners, we provide further sessions. If they weren't needed, they wouldn't be provided. Everything is always here for a reason. That goes for everything. Everything is always here for a reason. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Please subscribe and click for the notifications if you want to keep up to date with these videos as I share them. I also tend to share them in my newsletter and share other stuff there too. So if you're interested in subscribing to that, then I'll put the link to that below. And of course, I'll also put the link below for the foundation sessions if you're ready to go straight ahead with that. Or if you're interested about subsequent sessions, I've got the option to book those privately with me, as you would book any private session with somebody. But I also have a community option. So if you're also interested in being in community with other people on their Mace Energy Method journeys, then that is totally available. And you also get short 15 or 30-minute drop-in sessions in there too, which provides a protected time where you're guaranteed each week to have the option for a session at an amazing price. So again, thank you for watching. Really appreciate your attention being on this video. Of all the things you could be putting your attention on, I really, really do fully appreciate that. And I really look forward to meeting you if Mace is part of your journey. Lots of love and take care.